Whenever we choose a project and we decide to go after it, we put in the work, we put in the time, and most importantly, we put in the effort. But has there ever been a time where you've done all that, but maybe you've still failed, and now you feel like maybe giving up? You feel like it's the end of a chapter. Maybe you feel like you should move on and do something else. Maybe you also play it safe. You do things that are a little bit easier so that it doesn't lead to failure, which is something that I remember I used to do something very similar in the past. But here's the truth. I am so glad that although I'm 19, I have learned a lot. I've gone through challenges just like everyone else, and I've realized that failure isn't the end of the things that we are doing. Whether it's a goal, it's not the end of that goal. Whether it's trying to build something meaningful, if you fail at something, it's not the end of building something meaningful. The reality is, it's just the beginning of building something meaningful. It's just the beginning of going after and achieving that goal. The great thing about failure that's not a lot of people talk about is that failure isn't the end. There is positives. Believe it or not, there is positives that come out of failure. Failure doesn't always have to be negative. Instead, failure can be something positive, something to look at, to take something negative and to twist it and turn it into something meaningful, something positive. Have you ever heard of maybe someone who you admire? Maybe there's someone who you admire. It could even be your friends, your family, but you see what they've done. Maybe you've seen the accomplishments, the amazing things that they have done, but you also understand that it never used to be like that. Maybe they were in a tough spot, a tough place, a tough environment. And a lot of people might view that as the future of their lives to being a failure. But they turned what they were doing, they turned their negative situation into a positive one. Maybe at first they seen the negatives as negative, but the more they experienced something, they started to understand that within these negatives, there is truly positives. If we were to just give up after failure, then will we ever be able to succeed and achieve the things that we want to achieve at and become great at? Because I don't think we would be able to. I think we might, after we give up on that goal or that dream, we might move on to something else that wasn't fulfilling to the previous goal and dream that we had. And only if we took that next step, then we will get to those places where we want to be. Believe it or not, there is people that put themselves into situations, into places that maybe they know they are going to fail, but they do that because of the valuable lessons that come from failure. Sometimes it's about testing ourselves. It's about putting ourselves into maybe challenging moments, challenging situations to see how we deal with them. Maybe nothing obviously that brings harm, but that gives us valuable information that we can work on and become better at. So by putting ourselves in situations that may create a result of failure, it brings powerful pieces of information that can tell a lot about ourselves, that can teach us a lot about ourselves. There's been times in the past where I've been able to put myself into uncomfortable environments, maybe something that I was scared of doing, or maybe I had a fear of something, but I was able to put myself in these environments and I learned something about myself that I never even knew before. So that is just one of the many positives of putting ourselves into maybe uncomfortable situations, maybe doing things that may even lead to failure, but in hopes that it will help you, in hopes that it will help us become better people, that will help us get to those places of growth, get to those places of success, and get to those places of achievement. As a result of doing these things myself, I've been able to become tougher and almost fearless. It builds not only confidence, but it allows us to move forward in a way that is positive instead of moving forward or essentially moving backwards and always thinking about the negatives and maybe saying to ourselves, how am I able to do this? But by reframing those failures, by reframing the struggles that we are facing as something positive, then we're able to move forward with confidence, with strength, with reassurance, and with the ability and skill to see those negatives, or what we first thought were negatives, as positives. The great thing is that we take something from failure rather than letting failure take something from us. Rather than letting failure almost destroy us mentally. So it's about taking something from those hard, challenging moments rather than letting those hard, challenging moments take something from us. Maybe it's our happiness, our peace, our ability to even move forward. So just know that whenever you're going through something negative, that maybe you are in a negative situation, maybe something negative has been brought upon you. What I have said to myself, and I still continue to do whenever I do experience things like this, is that what if these things that are happening to us are happening for some sort of reason? What if there's something in the future that involves maybe going through this challenge, this uncomfortable moment, in order to help us in the future with something even more bigger, even more important, even more significant? So that is sometimes the way that I think. I just think about the future instead of trying to think about the past. And sometimes I do, I think about the past. Sometimes I think about the negatives. But it's about trying our hardest to push past those negatives, to push past those mental hurdles, those mental blocks, and to become the greatest version of ourselves. I understand if this sounds silly, but another thing I've been able to understand, and one thing that I tell myself, is that imagine if these failures, if these things that creates growth, the failures, the challenges, the setbacks, what if they weren't free? The fact that these things are free, the challenges, the things that currency, real currency can't buy, which is life lessons, which is those challenging moments that create opportunity for growth. That is the best things in life that are free. Sometimes you could say that they're not free because they may include amounts of time, amounts of patience, amounts of other things as well, amounts of courage and all that stuff. But the fact that in general and in some cases, these things are free. Sometimes challenges might come our way just naturally. And that is that is the coolest thing. The fact that these things are free, the fact that we can learn something so valuable that can help a lot of people I think is the coolest thing, is one of the coolest things. So it's the fact that we are able to have these challenges, to have these setbacks, these moments of failure, in order to help us, in order to help other people, in order to bring us to the places where we want to be, turn us into better people, etc. So I hope that this video could help you in any type of way. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could please like this video, subscribe down below, and if you know anyone that may benefit from watching this, then I would appreciate it if you could please share this video to them. Thank you so much. And I would also just like to say that everything I say in these videos, the things that I mention that I do, the things that I talk about in the past, maybe my experiences in the past, I am not joking. All those things that I've experienced, that I share to you, are 100% true. And I do that, I share these experiences because I hope to inspire you to move forward in a positive way, and in hopes that they'll help you maybe in other aspects of life as well. So please just know that everything I say, it's not a fad, it's nothing false apart from the truth. My goal on this earth is to inspire, is to help as much people as possible, because I've experienced the same as everyone else. I go through challenges, I go through moments of a lot of self-doubt. But there's a lot of things that I've learned from that I know could help other people, that can help lots of people. Even if it's just someone watching my video and able to take that information from me in hopes to help not only them, but even their friends and family. That is the amazing thing. And that's why I create these videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see everyone in the next one.